Guys, what's up? We're Frequency Control Show. We're back. Hope you guys could
What up?
hear last week's thing. We had some audio issues, but we're back better than ever. Sorry we're a little bit late. Had to chop it up for a couple hours and get right and get in the right mindset. But we got something for you tonight, and you'll probably be seeing this 10 years later. But hey,
You're going to want to see this. By the time you're watching this, you want to watch this.
we might turn these videos into NFTs. Non-fungible tokens. Where one time you get to see it and own one episode as an NFT.
Can you imagine?
Oh shit! I just thought of something crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and how many times? And we got 2 years worth?
Oh man, all the little clips
Did
you
we
do.
just become the richest people on the planet?
Maybe trillionaires.
Think about that for a sec. Anyways, this is how this is how it works.
Yeah, we need to do an NFT of one of our episodes that you can't get anywhere else.
Or what about clips?
Or a clip. You can't own it anywhere else but there.
Oh,
And you can do whatever you want with it.
And eventually, people are going to want these because they're
Well,
going to
yeah,
see
exactly.
the growth.
Exactly.
You're watching the growth happen in front of you, which is a different, which is a different angle than you've gotten anywhere else because everywhere else is giving you the information after they've made it.
Yep.
No one's giving you if you go back to the first episode, I was 4 days out of sleeping in my car. So watch where we're at coming now, right? Like, it's pretty exciting. Anyways, Inner Tools. Ooh, man, I can't. Think about how many times over, Robert. Oh, how many episodes do we already have? How many clips could be made for a demand of somebody wanting the sauce, the real sauce, and here's the proof. Yeah, so Inner Tools. Yeah, I just want to kind of touch just a little bit about, whatever you believe in, how you were created, right? God or your higher power has given us a set of tools that we can use to be, do, and have every need and get rewarded for using these tools. And, if you don't use these inner tools, you're going to relate to this, not you, but the people who don't use their inner tools. You'll notice that you'll start to wither away, and you'll wither yourself to a point to where now people can walk all over you, push you around, and you don't have the willpower to stand up for yourself, and stand up against being pushed around and bullied around. If you're not using the tools you've been given, and you're thinking is really the only. What you're thinking is one of the major things you have 100% control over. You have 100% control over your thoughts and your mindset and how you think and what you project out there. That's the only thing you really have. Well, I can't say only because I'd have to think about other. One of the major things you have 100% control over is your thoughts. And it just so happens that your thinking and your mindset is more important than anything else. And I just kind of wanted to just, let people know, don't be scared, man. Whatever you got to do to build that confidence to where you're not scared to let your light shine, to go for the things that you want to chase and do the things you want to do and achieve the things that you want to achieve. Don't be scared to use your inner tools and in your thinking, and know that by using your inner tools, you will be rewarded for using them by creating the things you want. And if you don't use them, it's very easy to create the things you don't want or use them in an incorrect way. I don't know. That's just kind of where I wanted to start. I didn't know where we're going to go after that. I did kind of want to touch on what we talked about last week, and having a little epiphany about getting a little bit deeper in the burning desire for the things you want. And just for myself, I want to talk about my week a little bit and how I kind of went back to the beginning when I first got this information, and I really started paying attention again to every thought. And by doing so, even when I start down, possibly a negative conversation or something, I'm able to be in that moment of realizing what I'm thinking about and turn it in a way that's towards what I do want. And then I started realizing that I could use anger as a tool, because anger is a very powerful emotion. Like if I have a angry conversation with somebody in my head, I'm sending out a very strong signal because I'm angry and I'm having its emotion. I have a lot of emotion in a negative conversation I might have with somebody in my head, which I know sounds crazy. But I imagine a lot, I have a really unique imagination. So I'm using my God-given tools, which one of them is my imagination. And I use that tool that I was given, my imagination, as a way to constantly be thinking about what I want and scenarios and conversations with people. And I could just think about sitting in the home I want, and one of my friends comes over. And now I'm sitting in this chair for an hour thinking about all the conversations and everything we have when my friend shows up at my house. Everything we're doing, I'm showing them the secret rooms and the secret this and the secret that and all the dogs I've got and the training of it. Just all this weird. So here I can do it right here as I'm talking to you. So I use my God, one of my tools, one of my God-given qualities, my imagination, and I employ that tool and implement that tool as a way for me to get obsessed with what I want by constantly thinking about it all the time. And how do I constantly think about it all the time? Is I constantly think of different scenarios of stuff happening while I'm in that time in my life where I'm sitting in this place or where I am and things like that, right? So it's a way for me to get obsessed. But I've also learned too that when I get off of that and I maybe start thinking about something I'm not realize I'm thinking about, but then I jump into that moment because I'm obsessed with thinking about my thoughts. So now I can jump in that moment of when I'm having a negative conversation, and then I don't necessarily turn it into a positive conversation. As long as I'm not thinking about I can't, or I'm thinking about I don't want, then I think it's good for me. And I could use this, not really negative, but I could use this kind of angry energy and this angry emotion as a tool to blast out what I want in that moment. It's just from an angle of anger, not negative necessarily. I might be having, I use the emotion of anger as a way to throw out a stronger signal of what I want by attaching that anger emotion to it. So I've been playing with these things. And the reason why I'm doing it is so I can like we were talking about last week, the reason why we're making this twist, we're making this kind of change a little bit, right? So this is what I've experienced this week with this new change. And shoot, now I forgot where I was gonna go, and I was on a roll. Oh man, but paying attention there. Oh, but using the angry emotion has helped, and it has helped with my obsession and my burning desire, and not only that, but being more just being more constant. What I want. So these are just kind of the, and I've even with my job, because I realize that I'm highly successful at my job because I'm completely obsessed with it all the time, even when I'm at home. So when I find myself, and now I've kind of made the switch mentally a little bit to change some of that up when I'm not in the building of my job. But now when I find myself, maybe not paying attention to a moment or a conversation in my mind I'm having, or something I'm imagining, using the tools that I have naturally been given. Like I said in the beginning, I'm using my natural tools that I was given. And, so when I'm thinking about my job in an exciting way as a winner, I'm turning it though as I'm a winner, but I'm turning it in a way to where it's towards what I want. If I'm thinking about my job, hold on, I have to. This is annoying me. This thing is on my screen and I can't see it. There we go. So, I don't know. It's been kind of exciting week to now start implementing what we kind of both realize for ourselves separately. And then we talked about it last week and came to the same conclusions about a burning desire and burn the ships, so to speak, right? Burn the ships mean there's no retreat. We're going to achieve what we want to achieve, and that's it. There's no turning back type of thing, and really creating that burning desire for what we want. And this is just kind of some of the things I've noticed that's happened, that not even so. Okay. So after getting more obsessed and doing these things, the reason why I'm doing it is to be obsessed with my thinking, so my subconscious picks it up. And then when my subconscious picks up, oh, this is what he wants. This is what he wants. I'm having conversations with my subconscious. This is what I want. Yes, I am in control. Then infinite intelligence kicks in. And that's when, the path of the how to get there is really supposed to reveal itself, the how. Now, the how is created by getting obsessed with burning desire for what I want to achieve. My subconscious picks it up by the obsession of constantly thinking about it constantly thinking about it. My subconscious picks it up, infinite intelligence kicks in, and starts revealing the path of how I get there. Now my next logical hustles of how I'm going to achieve my goal is supposed to, the action I need to take is supposed to be so heavy, right, that I can't even not take action. And that's what I'm trying to get to. So after concentrating on it, it's supposed to come, more like thoughts and then experiences. And it just so happens the first thought was a book that I had already started writing, but a better way to frame it now. And it just so happens that now that I really cleaned up my main game and clearly defined what I want and narrowed it down finally, and realized the mistake I was making on my next logical hustles and concentrating too much on the how and the vehicles of what I think is how it's going to happen. And I haven't been focusing enough on just the burning desire for it to happen, and then let the how, let God in the universe show me how it's going to happen, and then take those actions towards that, right? So the first thing is the book, and it's just it's kind of funny that as soon as I clearly define what I want, I had an idea about the book I was already started, but a better way to frame it. A better way to frame this book so it would be better and way more interesting, where the beginning is the end type of stuff. A really cool way to write it appeared as a thought. And then I had a conversation with somebody, and it led to an opportunity of another book that I should write that I had already thought about starting, but another way to frame it, and all the material that I should have in that book and and the things I should talk about was all in this conversation. So much I was taking notes as fast as I can, because this is all the material for this book, right? These are all the sentences. This is what I need to talk about. I need to do a little bit of research about this, and super cool. So those are just kind of the things that has popped up now, so far, that I can see. These are the opportunities that has transformed in my mind, and not just a thought, but also conversations I've had with people. This book came into fruition a little bit, that I had already started, but all the things I need to talk about in it, I just had a conversation about. So there's another thing. So, that's just, who knows? That's what I can see so far as opportunities coming from the new obsession. That's what I can see so far. I need to keep paying attention, and keep taking action on these things, because, I don't want to miss, right? Any opportunities, but I still think these things are going to take time, and I want it now, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Right now it's on my clock. Now it's like I'm on the clock of I'm on the clock of finishing all these things as fast as I can, to see these things if they work out, right? You never know. It could be even more. It could be even more than what I'm envisioning, right? But these are just what's happening now. This is the week. This is how my week went. This is the things I've noticed from my changes in my behavior. And these are the things that have come up in my mind of possible opportunities that I could take that could possibly lead towards what I want, stemming from taking the new avenue of dialing in, getting more obsessed, and creating that burning desire to achieve what I want. That's how my week's gone. I don't know. There you go. There we go. I think we're at a place now, where we kind of need to go week by week is the show almost now, right? We have talked so much about the information and what we've been learning up to this point, and we've really laid down a lot of we're talking over a year and a half now of information now, and we're kind of at a point where we're on repeat a little bit. So which was cool about last week is now we kind of thought of ways where we could expand this now and expand on this, and maybe dial in a little further and implement the information better, having a better understanding of it now that we're teaching it as well. So this is, I feel like now we're almost at the point where we're living week to week to watch these breakthroughs really start to happen now, which is extremely exciting to me.
Yeah, if you guys watched last week, I'm not sure the audio. Will says he saw it, but he might have
I
watched a
did
different
the
one.
beginning of it, anyways.
The audio screwed up, but we touched on burning desire and attaching that feeling to whatever it is you're trying to do, and then going for it. So this week, was that, like, I say I want this, yet am I doing it with my all? Am I doing it with everything in my body? And uh, I've tried to do that. It's still a work in progress, but like literally lock in and do these things that only harmonize with what is your burning desire. So it's like, and I've been trying to do that all week. So like asking yourself, is this part of what I planned to do? Is this adding anything as far as getting me any further or any closer to what I'm trying to do? So, say it is you want to be an author and your goal is to write a book, yet you decide that you really like that art project you're working on where you're drawing this picture of Betty Davis. And you're just like, I'm going to draw her. It's such a cool thing. It's so great. I also want to do cool t shirts with Betty Davis and Marilyn Monroe and some iconic old actresses. And you start doing that, or whatever it is you're doing, watching TV, whatever it happens to be. My TV went out 2 days ago, and I have been the most productive ever in my life because I have like no option to. I have other TVs in other parts of the house, but they're not as comfortable as my living room to watch TV in. But it's helped me to not get sidetracked, and it's crazy. And I don't think I watch that much TV, but like while I'm working on my business at home, I'll watch something in the background. I didn't realize how much that was slowing down what I was doing while I was watching it because it's supposed to be in the background, but I find myself fixating on that and it'd be a slower process. Whereas like what takes an hour if I have a TV working in the background actually takes 20 minutes if I have nothing in the background. So I get myself 40 minutes, and the next thing I see myself buying myself all this extra time by not having TV. Yeah, sure, I'm missing all these really important things like what's Kanye West's issues this week. Like just dumbass shit. But like anyway, so attaching your burning desire to something. So like my burning desire is to do this music thing full time to where it's paying me, and it's finally realizing that's what it is, attaching that feeling of like this is what it is, and is anything else I'm doing, for instance dialing the tone on my guitar, and like I'd spend 4 hours doing that instead. But by figuring out this thing and this epiphany, and hopefully last week's video works so you can kind of get the idea as to what that was. Today is the 27th of January 2022, so whatever last week was, Thursday, that's the video. Hopefully it has audio in it. If not, it was all about burning desire. We'll figure that out here in the future. You won't even have to worry about it. But that piece that explained this burning desire piece way better than I can now. In fact, I'd have to watch that video again to really figure out what we were on that day, as far as is tapped into. I've been doing that all week, just really trying to go, is this doing what I said I wanted to do? Anything other than that is taking me away from what I'm trying to do. And then I cannot say that, I cannot sit there and go, I don't have the results because it's not working for me. It's because you're not doing anything that's adding value to that burning desire piece. So what is your burning desire, or what's your goal? What's your goal? And if that's truly what you want, you have to attach in a burning desire to it. And they have to do nothing but that and focus heavy on that. And so mine last week has been focused on trying to do that. And it's tricky, man. And I've done some of it, and I haven't done a ton of it. I could do more. I did do the beat thing, but like selling and slanging of the beats and the Instagram stuff, done a little bit of it, but it's like kind of a learning curve piece there. But it's getting locked into that piece, but realizing I'm the actual person who's got to write the book or the person who's got to make the beat, and then I've got to figure out how to do the business side of it. So you got to wear all these hats. At first, it's very tricky to figure out that rhythm and what that looks like. But that's been my week, is really trying to attach that burning desire to what I say I want, and then really make it feel like this is all I want to do. I'm not gonna like Will earlier before we got on the thing. I always think these red flags, not to put any negative angle on it, but like when somebody tells me about 50 ideas they have, I'm just like, oh shit, because that's just all the shit that just spreads you so thin that it makes it hard for you to focus on one thing, And for me, I like to do murals and paint and play guitar and do art things and do logos. And I got a t-shirt company and I got all these things I want to do. But what that does is spreads you thin. You have to be focused on one thing super heavy to get some momentum at least something, or everything's going to go very slow forward. Especially if you take everything, go like 10 minutes of this, hour of that, and it may take you a long time. And if you don't have any focus on anything, you may give up on one of them because you think it's not working, but it's really because you're not adding it as a burning desire. Pick one thing, attach yourself to it, and that's the one thing you have to like be relentless about. So my last week's been that. I know this podcast is kind of spread out. Well, we were almost not gonna do one just because we're just kind of vibing on some other stuff, but
this is great though.
But like this week's, it's a struggle though. Even we talk all that stuff, like we know everything, and it's like having that information. I had a day, probably Tuesday, where I felt like, man, I felt beat up. You know what I mean? I think it was beat up for my own expectation of what I should be or where I should be. Looked at some other people's posts on Instagram, which is cancer in itself, and felt lesser, based on what they were able to paint as a perception, and been like where I'm at compared to that and where I'm trying to be. And then I just needed to have something tell me I was okay and that I'm doing a good job. And so I'm like reading Think and Go Rich, or at least have this audiobook playing in the background while I'm doing my business at home and shipping stuff to people. And it's like I was like, that's not gonna work. I tried another one. This one, As a Man Thinketh, is a great one. It's short and it's like 45 minutes, and it's like to the point. And I'm listening to all this stuff, just trying to feel better. But it's just you get so watered down in your focus that it'll weigh on you. So you really got to pick one thing, attached. What's a burning desire to where that's all you want to do? For instance, a kid who wants to play basketball and he wants to be pro at it, he's not playing freaking Nintendo. He's out in the corner shooting jump shots nonstop. Free throws over and over, doing his layups, and he's running around. He's practicing his ball handling skills nonstop. It's not out there going, well, let me see if I can play some football, I'll play a little baseball. You get those random guys like Bo Jackson and stuff that are good at multiples, but some people are just, like Kaepernick was good at baseball too, so like he could have done both and chose to say, I need to focus on football, and did the football thing. But attaching a burning desire to it, and then sticking to it, and it's tricky. All week I was like trying to do that. I've been really good about getting the studio, get my stuff done, and being productive. But the thing I wanted to do, which is take it from making music to selling music, that piece I could say was subpar. I didn't do a great job at it. Just like that learning curve, kind of daunting, and figuring that cadence out. But realistically, it's a start though. That's just the first week. Where am I at 5 weeks from now? Understanding, attaching a burning desire to whatever my goal is, whatever I'm saying is my thing I want to do. Figuring out how to attach a burning desire to it. Where am I at 5 weeks from now having that knowledge? Whereas at first I didn't have that. So in 5 weeks, we should see where we're at with that, But that's been my last week, is really trying to attach the burning desire to it, realizing that if I don't do it like it's a burning desire, I should pretty much count it out. Because half-assing it and kind of doing it here and there will never get you the results you want. Especially considering the people that do have it, that's all they've thought about. That's all they do 24/7. And it was funny, my wife told me back when I used to work with Snoop Dogg, my wife goes, and I didn't even realize it. She goes, yeah, back when we were first together, and she was talking to my kids. She goes, and your dad was never around because all he ever was is in the studio working on music, and he never did anything else. There was no dinner, there was no bar, there was no nothing, no lunches, no going out, no going shopping, no hanging out with a girlfriend no watching TV together. He was in that studio, and that is all he did. And the girlfriend prior to that could tell you the same thing. That is all I did. My vacations, anything I had from work, it was I'm in the studio doing nothing but music. 16-hour days, nonstop. That is all I'm doing. Nothing else. Nothing else. And so like no dirt bike riding, no nothing, just strictly that. It wasn't until years later I was like, you know what, I need to ride this dirt bike. You know, I need to go do some stuff, and watered it down a little bit. But you know, that burning desire I had at the time, I found myself hanging out with Snoop Dogg very short time. Think about it, Will. Let's do the math. I'm in Wenatchee, Washington. I go to Vancouver, Washington. A year later, I'm with Snoop Dogg. Mind you, a year or two before that, we just got our freaking music. Or let's figure this out. 25, my homie passed away. Went down, met a guy who did a freestyle competition. Listened to his album, asked him how he figured it out, like what studio. He said, no, I recorded this at home, realized that I could do my whole rap thing at home. Immediately took a plane home, hit home the homie Will up, who was my partner in crime, and we're making music on a PlayStation. Said, yo, dude, we can do this like basically professionally if we just go to Guitar Center and buy these pieces of equipment. We got to do this. Are you in? He's like, oh man, let's do it. We go, Spokane. I sneak him into my hotel at a freaking like a install convention in Spokane, because you don't even work for Lowe's at the time. And go to guitars. Yeah, and so we go figure it out, get the equipment, you know, and start figuring out how to use it. So I'm 25. So it was probably like 26 years old before I really even started to turn on the machines. 27, 28, 29 years old. Or 28, probably 29 years old. So a couple years later, I'm already messing with Snoop Dogg. Think about it. We're making music in Wenatchee. We hadn't even recorded one song together. I made beats on FL Studio, not even the equipment we bought. I moved to Vancouver, make some of my own little beats, start messing around. Next thing you know, 29, you know, a couple years later, Snoop Dogg. Very quick when you have a burning desire, and it was a burning desire. It's all I gave a shit about. I cared about nothing else. I didn't even make the kind of music that got me to Snoop Dogg. Gospel music. I'm making rap beats. Gangster songs talking about killing people and shit. Like,
ain't that some stuff? Create an opportunity where you went to a job with the girl that had the new Ricky. Mm-hmm. Wow. Man, imagine that. And how easy it could have been that you didn't even go to that Lowe's. Yeah, I mean.
Right. So
How
many.
does that even happen? That you work with somebody that led to that led to that whole thing. This is why you got to backtrack like this. Like that's.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
feel
cool
better
to
right
do.
this second, because like now it kind of makes more sense to me even right this second.
Yeah,
Wow.
right, right. Like what we're talking about. Being at Lowe's is why I was with Snoop Dogg. If I
Wow.
wasn't at Lowe's because I thought I was too good for it, and this isn't where I want to be, I wouldn't have got the Snoop Dogg gig. By being at Lowe's, I got the Snoop Dogg thing, that all that
No,
connection,
by being obsessed with the music,
and then being at Lowe's, which was the right place at the time, though.
those things happened with
Right.
that obsession, and that girl just happened.
Yep, and I'm talking so obsessed that I'm in the aisles. I'm watching somebody while I'm being the spotter on for a forklift, and I'm writing raps as I'm doing that. Like I'm literally like every second of the day working on music at work. Get home, music, 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 music. Spending every dollar I have on that stuff.
But you could have picked any Lowe's, or they might even Lowe's might have not even that Lowe's might not even had a position for you to apply in and get.
Well, and it took me being at that
all
Lowe's
of
for
that.
a few years before that even went down.
Wow, this is.
Yeah. So again, I just so my point is that the quickness of a burning desire, attaching a burning desire to something which I didn't have to work hard at that time. But sometimes it can't just be as passionate as what you want. It's a goal, and maybe you're not so passionate about it because you've been working on it so long. But how do you figure out how to attach the burning desire feeling to where you get that stuff to come to you quicker? Because like I said, a couple years and I'm already at Snoop. We're not talking. I've been doing it for 20 years, but it only took a couple years to get to Snoop, and then it kind of watered down from there. Had a kid, so 10-year chunk you just take right out of there with the kid, and I just kind of gave up music altogether. Not consciously, it was more like I'll get in there and didn't turn on my music equipment for many years, just kind of other than here and there, but not seriously. For 10 years, I had a kid, decided I needed to make some money, and didn't touch the music equipment for quite some time. 7 years I didn't do it. For the last 3 years I've been really cracking. So, uh, you know, now it's trying to rebuild that same thing, but now it's trying to do it as a dad and with responsibilities and all this stuff. Because as a dad, you're not as free as you are as a bachelor. I could ignore my wife, but I can't ignore my kids. So like that's a trickier piece, but it's trying to attach that intensity of that burning desire where I was like, I don't care what she's doing. She had a job, so she's busy half the time with work and regular stuff, and so I wasn't neglecting her so much. She was typically at her job, right? So I'm just cracking on music nonstop, 24/7. My grass is 4 foot tall, no joke. Like I haven't touched a thing in the house as far as cleaning. I don't give a nothing. I'm just cracking Snoop Dogg very quickly. And, because nothing else mattered to me. I didn't care. I said, I don't want to die knowing I mowed my lawn. I don't want to die knowing I had the perfect back deck. I don't want to die knowing I washed my car. I don't want to die. Like, I want to die knowing I did what the hell I was supposed to do. And so it's a little trickier now with kids. And so that really drives home the point of like attaching burning desire to whatever it is you're trying to do, because now the reality is I might have 2 hours here, 1 hour there, a half hour there, like the kids are at school, I got to pick them up in an hour. Okay, that'll give me 45 minutes to really get down and crack. And you have to take advantage of that. And if you attach burning desire to that, you will take advantage of that 45 minutes and turn 45 minutes into magic. And that's what I've been doing, is grabbing every little morsel of time that most people say, I don't have enough time, and making that into something. You know what I mean? Take that little bit of time and use it. Don't fuck it off watching Netflix. Because if you attach that 45 minutes times 5 days a week, let's say, that's almost 5 hours.
You people watching this at your moment you're watching this, I'm a fan right now. I'm having, this is so beneficial to me right now because now I am putting a lot of twos and twos together. You know, this is so, man, you people watching, like, at this moment, we're creating it, you know, this episode's for me. You know what I mean? Like, this is how important this stuff is. Because now I'm more excited about what I'm doing because I'm putting connections of stuff that happened for my homie even closer now, though.
Yeah, and now
I know this connection, but the way we just broke it down and thinking about it again has helped me in this moment even get more excited and more
because
I'm
now you
doing.
can attach yourself emotionally to where we were and go, man,
I
really?
was a part of it.
Rob left and we were working on music together, and it was pretty much me playing music on my keyboard and the MPC 1000 and him going to the beats and playing on his little computer, and he left.
Music generator turned music.
He
the
left.
Best thing I did.
Yeah, he
turned
left.
Music Generator 2 out.
He left, and 2 years later, he was working with Snoop Dogg, and we were on stage with him. Like, you kind of go like, oh, and I remember, and you know how dedicated I was to music. That's all I did.
Obsessed.
And I would freaking tell Will and my homie Tony, I'll choke you motherfuckers out. We're going to buy this equipment. We're going to get all this shit. And I would just be crazy about it. That's all I was going to do. Burning Desire. Snoop Dogg, 2 years. So from not knowing shit, Snoop Dogg, 2 years. I'm talking placement, released on 2 albums.
Yeah, I remember saying no. Like, you're gonna pay me back for this. I'm like, no, I can't afford this. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. And you were like, yes, you are.
You're gonna
and
do
I
this.
said, no, I'm not. And then I ended up paying my portion. I paid my portion, and I got my own keyboard. You know what I mean? So,
and then I went for another round. They were like, hell no. But that's how extreme it was. It was like, okay, I've got all this money that was already hard enough for them to do, and I'm like, you're gonna do it again. Like, it was just like, and I did it again and again and again and again, and I still do it till this day. Hell, I spend freaking probably $500-600 on just buying. Hell, I just bought some bunch of guitar shit, man. I mean, like, I just can't stop. I mean, but at the end of the day, you attach a burning desire to something. So fast forward, you guys are in regular lives. You probably have kids. You probably have obligations and responsibilities. It's a tricky thing, but you got to find that 2 hours, and glue them together over the week, 7 days.
But here's the point, though, is when you create that burning desire, you will take the right action.
Yeah, because you'll go,
That's the point. That's the point of the burning desire.
I have burning desire.
You want it so bad, you will take those moments.
I've attached burning desire to my goal. Oh, I've got 30 minutes. I can't wait to do that. I got to go do it right now. Yep. Like, because you desire it, you're not going to go, nah.
This is the point of getting that burning desire. You will take that action to get it.
And if you don't, then what are you doing?
You don't have a burning desire.
Then don't say you want to do it. And so if it's your goal and you don't want to attach a burning desire to it, a lot of times it'll go by the wayside. You can sit there and structure your day all you want. I'm going to do this. But if it doesn't turn into this burning desire, I started making beats and I started attaching people that I found on Instagram to those beats and going, this is for this person. And I'm going to tell them, hey, I made a beat for you this week. What? I don't even know you. Yeah, but I hear you on this. Check this out. And I named it by you. I did one now. And it's live on it's his Swiggle Mandela. He's the guy running all of Portland's music right now. And I just made a beat. I was like, man, that's just like Swiggle. I went to one of his shows. Like, he's like, and they're like, duh, duh, duh. And these guys are like very Bay Area. And I did this Bay ass beat. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to hit Swiggle up and say, yo, I named it Swiggle. This is your beat. Come get it. You know what I mean? Like I just started like literally putting a burning desire to stuff, attaching it by name to where I had to get it done. Man, this is for Swiggle. I got to get it done. like to where it's got to get done. It's got its own name now. It's named after someone. I've got to hit him up. You know, like literally attaching something to something. So again, attach a burning desire to your next goal. It'll be a lot easier to attain. And that's where I'm at this week. So attaching that, and I started going into the DMs and hitting people, going like, "Yo, I like what you're doing. You working on the next project? What are you doing?" Just really starting to get out there. And if I in numbers game, if I do it enough, something will happen. But that seems like kind of like sterile and boring. Like really, a numbers game. You sit there as a zombie for hours on Instagram, and you hit enough people up and annoy the shit out of 5,000 people. Okay, what makes that better? Let me attach a burning desire to it, to where it's like more of I have to do this. I'm compelled to do this. The power of the Christ compels me. And the next thing you're just like, I got to do this. I'm obsessed. You've got to figure out how to attach that to whatever goal you have, whatever it is you're saying you want to do. Because truthfully, you do want to do it, but there's so many blocks in front of you. Procrastination. I got this. There's so many excuses you're gonna have. Life, I can't. Then you're doubt. Then you have no confidence, and then real life stuff happens. I find that like I'll want to do something one day, and I let like my procrastination, my doubt in myself, all these things go. My bad fucking health, in the sense of, or not my bad dieting, uh, affect me, and then finally, when I finally get inspiration and I'm ready to go and strike, well, now my wife calls and like, can we go to my sister's house? I need you to help her husband move the refrigerator because he's too small. And so the next thing you know, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was finally ready to start doing my my burning desire, my goal. Whereas if I had attached a burning desire to it, I would have already had it done. Then when she gave me that curveball, I'd be like, no big deal. I've already cracked on all my stuff today. I'm about to get to where I'm trying to go anyway. I'll go help you move that refrigerator, no problem. You know. So again, attach that burning desire to whatever it is you're trying to do. I, I'm still I'm still in the process of making it happen, and even on a very subpar level, I've got more shit done this week, and that's partly due to broken TV. Thank God for that. Uh, it's like my TV broke, and I was like, yes, I'm not gonna be watching much TV. But you know, even with this crappy version of attaching my burning desire and trying to figure out how that all works, easier said than done. Man, I've gotten so much done towards what I'm trying to do. Felt so good too to hit people up in their DMs and go, okay, what's that look like? How does that work? What's that process feel like? But I would have never even got to that process had I not have tried to attach a burning desire to it. So that's been my week. I know it's long and drawn out and all over, and if you're watching this and you don't get it, you're gonna have to watch last week's podcast to understand what the hell we're talking about on this podcast. I really recommend. I mean, until you get your this information under your fingernails, watching each one in succession, because they kind of go that way. And then once you figure out the information, you can bounce all over and kind of bite into it. This one is going to be all over the place. But it's much like Joe Rogan's podcast. I used to be so strict. I remember when Berto, me, and Will started this thing, I was like, they would be all over the place and I'd be upset. I'd be like, no, we need to have one specific situation. This is what it is. And it's got to be like to where people can grasp it. And then I watched like a Joe Rogan and it was like all over the place. And I was like, but I was still in it. I still followed. Even though they were bouncing all over the freaking place, back, forth, up and down, I still followed. And so I'm sure you guys will as well. I have faith in your mindset. If you're even searching for this kind of information, you're probably pretty intelligent in the first place. If you're not, you're probably just oblivious and just like whatever. I'm gonna let me clean the shitter and move on to the next one. Reload the toilet paper here and mop this floor, and that's cool. Although you could be doing that, but if you're on this and you're trying not to do that anymore, unless you enjoy that, and that to each his own, you know. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe.
Deuces.
Peace out.